Jubiest of the tubiest. The best YouTube subscribers on the planet. That's you. And I'm 50 plus. This right here is Mr. Terry.
What's up?
Who was talking about DOT clocks.
Right.
So it's kind of a mystery, isn't it?
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about, an introduction to how the clocks work, okay? And aside from getting extra deep into it and getting extra confusing and whatnot, and, there's the fact that we turn the truck off, we're in Houston, it's 176 degrees outside. It's hot! So we ain't going along. Basic stuff. Here we go. When you get a fresh clock, and a fresh clock means you have all the time available to you, okay? The block of time allotted would be 70 hours, okay? You have 70 hours of work time available to you before you either have to do one of two things: run recaps or do a 34-hour reset. That means you have to be off duty or in the sleep or whatever you're doing off duty, okay, for 34 consecutive hours, and then you will get a fresh block of 70 hours to work with, okay?
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
So you are allotted, before you are forced to do a daily reset, and a daily reset is 10 hours, okay, of off-duty or sleep work time, okay?
Okay.
Before you can regain a block of time for you to work that day. Okay? So you're going to have a 70-hour clock, and the first block out of that 70 that you're going to be able to work with is 14 hours. Okay? In that 14-hour window of time, you are only allotted 11 hours to actually work. In our case, it would be driving, okay?
Yeah.
Which is going to leave you a buffer of 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
And that 3 hours you're going to use to, snack or take a break or whatnot, okay?
Yeah.
All right, we're with me so far.
Yeah.
So we have the weekly block of time, which is 70 hours. Daily, you're going to get 14-hour windows of time in that 70. Okay? Of that 14-hour window of time, you have 11 hours that you can actually drive. Okay? Because our bodies get tired, we can only drive or work or whatever 8 consecutive hours out of that 11 before we are required to take a 30-minute break. Okay? And let's just say, for easy math, you did it. You drove 8 consecutive hours. And the Qualcomm says, hey, pull over, take a break. It's going to give you a long diatribe of, you're violating the 8-hour clock for the DOT mandatory FM. It'll be this long thing. It's just going to bore the hell out of you. But essentially, you just got to stop and take a 30-minute break. Okay? For easy math, let's say you were able to pop that break and then go off duty or sleep or whatever you're doing. Off duty is fine. But you go off duty at exactly 8 hours. In 30 minutes, you're going to get 3 hours put back on your workable drive time. Okay? Because remember, we had 11 that we could actually use. You only use the 8 of them. Take a 30-minute break, now you can use the other 3. Okay? And that's for easy math's sake. That is exactly what you did. You have used 11 hours of the 70-hour block of time, okay? Now, you had a 14-hour window to do that with, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But that 14-hour window is not taking from your 70-hour block of time. Only what you're burning off of it. So you're going to take 11 off of that 70, and the next day you're going to have the remaining left. Okay, you're going to have 70 minus 11. That's what you're going to have remaining. Okay, what 59 is that right? Yeah. Okay, so now the next day the whole thing starts over again. Not too hard so far, right?
Yeah.
Now, in just a second, we're going to look at the Qualcomm, and I'm going to show you what those things look like, so you can visually see what those clocks look like. But before we go to that point, you have anything that we need to straighten out?
No.
You got that part down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that part's pretty simple. Okay. Yeah, let's just go to that. Hold on a second. Of course, there's going to be a little glare here. Would be that way, wouldn't it? Let me see. Oh, that's just showing your little breastises. All right, looky here. So, you have your 70-hour window right there. Your 70-hour block of time. And we have driven almost 40 of that 70-hour window, you see? Your 8-hour, that's the rest break clock. Pretty simple there. You actually have 5 hours and 16 minutes left that you can drive before you have to take a break. Okay? Now, what's going to happen after you take a break is you're taking time out of that 11, right? Okay? And so what you're going to get is the smallest of that 7.06 or 7 hours 6 minutes, or 8 hours 37 minutes. Okay, you're going to get the smallest of those two back, which means you're going to get 7 hours and 6 minutes. That's what you'll have. As you can see at the top, you have 5 hours and 16 minutes right now, right?
Yeah.
So what you're going to get back is what extra you're going to have remaining out of that 11 in difference. That's the reason it's more, 7 hours and 6 minutes, you see? Yeah. Pretty simple, right? Mm-hmm. Not hard at all. And this thing's going to do all the math for you. It's not going to be difficult, bro. Pretty cut and dry. Okay? You can also look at clock, graph, all that kind of stuff to kind of help you find out what you got available. We're not going to do the other clocks. It's just so difficult. Here, it shows what you have in driving and on duty, okay? That on duty line is the one that you're concerned about. This one. Oh, crap, sorry. There you go. That on duty line, that's the one you care most about, because that's where your recaps are going to come from, okay? So those 2 0 days right there, that was our weekend, right? Yeah. The next day you drove, you were on duty for 7 hours and 57 minutes. The next day was 7 hours and 23. The next day was 8 hours 14, like that, right? We're still working on that 6 hours 39 right now, right? Yeah. Okay, so those are the holdover days, the recap days that you add up every day when you're doing your paper logs, right, to tell you what's gonna come back to you with your recaps. So it's gonna be that on duty line that adds them both up. Okay, that's where you'll find that. And also, right here where it says hours to be gained, when it says hours to be gained, that's what you're gonna. It'll tell you what you're gonna get back on a recap day. Okay, so we're gonna briefly talk about recaps. I think you probably got a little grasp of what we're talking about right now, right?
Yeah.
You kind of got a grasp of what's going on right there.
Yeah, I just don't know nothing about recaps.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about it, okay? All right, we're gonna talk a little bit about recaps, just a little bit, because I think we're both cooking in here, okay? So you have that 70-hour block of time, okay? When that 70-hour block of time is gone, you have a choice. You can either take a 34 consecutive hours doing nothing, and you will get a fresh 70 to work with, because as you saw, you used almost 40 hours. You only have like 40 hours remaining of the 70, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, if you kept driving, you would use them all.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would happen is you would recapture hours after that 70 that you've already used 8 days ago. They're called recaps.
All 8 of them?
You don't get them at that time. You get them available whatever day, whatever you used 8 days ago. So, because remember when you did your logs and you did 0000, then put a number.
Yeah.
That's your recap hour, and you kept raising that up the ladder, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, it gets to the top. When you're ready to basically fall off, that's what you're going to be. It's basically falling into your pool of hours to drive, and that's a recap.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Now, Qualcomm's going to do it for you, because in the front screen, remember I showed you where it says hours to be gained?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're going to get tomorrow. If you end up with 0 hours on your 70 today at midnight Central Standard Time, because we run on Tulsa time, you will at midnight get back whatever falls off that ladder, okay? But we saw it. I showed you in the on-duty time. I showed you how to 8 hours, 10 hours. Remember I showed you those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's going to be that. That's where you can see what you're going to have, for the whole week or coming up. Okay? But you'll also see it on that front screen where it says hours to be gained. That's where it's the easiest. Okay? If it shows 2 hours to be gained, that means you had a short day that day, and you're not going to be able to get any work done. That's what's said. Okay? So then day 2 of running recaps, and let's say there was 8 hours on that day. Because you did not use the previous 2, it's not going to be pooled, and you're going to have 10.
Okay. So it's going to build up.
Yeah, you're going to continue to. They won't disappear if you don't use them. Okay. Unless you do a fresh 70, a complete 34-hour reset. Okay. But let's say day 1 you have 2 hours. Day 2 you have 1 hour. You may as well sit there and do a 34, because you don't have quality recaps. Okay, you can't do anything with those low amount of hours.
Yeah.
However, we saw on there that you had like 7 and 8, like that. Those are full days.
Yeah.
You're going to run those. Okay, and you're going to keep going until you get to that day where we had those zeros. Because that means those days you got 0 coming back.
Yeah.
You follow me? All right. And so that's recaps is so easy, and you don't have to do much thinking about it, because when you know that your 70 is running out, then all you have to do is look at on the status page where it shows hours to be gained. The next one says hours to be gained in 2 days. So you can basically see what you're going to get back at midnight tonight. Yeah. And you'll also be able to see what you're going to get midnight tomorrow night. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. Okay? Don't matter what if you're in, Atlanta or something, New York or California. Okay? You don't use local time, you only use that the helicopter's coming to get you. Man, you better send a whole bunch of helicopters. Look, if you need to run your recaps, just remember it's going to come back at midnight on Tulsa time. Okay?
Yeah.
So, you know, in your dash, it shows a clock right there.
Yeah.
When you set that clock, you're going to set that clock for home time. That's what it says. That home time is Tulsa time. That way, when you change time zones, and your phone will automatically change, right? So you're trying to use your phone as a clock. It's not the same, okay? So you use the clock that you have in your dash to let you know what you got going on. It's super simple that way. You can use the Qualcomm as well, but you that set your clock right in your truck dash, and you just use it to know when your 12-hour window is coming back. Okay. And you should know what you're gonna get because it says what hours to be gained.
It's gonna tell you.
It will tell you. No, not too bad, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't that bad.
See, this because you got a master instructor. Till we see you again. Deliver undistracted, and here's your boot.